Napoleon lay at Boulogne for a year with his flat-bottomed boats and his grand army, he was told by someone, there are bitter weeds in England. There are certainly a great many more of them since the British expeditionary force returned. Sir, I have myself full confidence that if all do their duty, if nothing is neglected, and if the best arrangements are made, as they are being made, we should prove ourselves once more able to defend our island home, to ride out the storm of war, and to outlive the menace of tyranny, if necessary for years, if necessary alone. At any rate, that is what we are going to try to do. That is the resolve of His Majesty's government, every man of them. That is the will of Parliament and the nation. The British Empire and the French Republic, linked together in their cause and in their need, will defend to the death their native soil, aiding each other like good comrades to the utmost of their strength. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. And if, which I do not for a moment believe, this island or a large part of it were subjugated and starving, then our empire beyond the seas, armed and guarded by the British fleet, would carry on the struggle until, in God's good time, the new world. Here I am, an Englishman, welcomed in your midst, makes this experience one of the most moving and thrilling in my life, which is already long and has not been entirely uneventful. I wish indeed that my mother, whose memory I cherish across the veil of years, could have been here to see. By the way, I cannot help reflecting that if my father had been American and my mother British, instead of the other way around, I might have got here on my own. Sure I am that this day, now, we are the masters of our fate. That the task which has been set us is not above our strength. That its pangs and toils are not beyond our endurance. As long as we have faith in our cause and an unconquerable willpower, salvation will not be denied us. In the words of the psalmist, he shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. Not all the tidings will be evil. On the contrary, mighty strokes of war have already been dealt against the enemy. The glorious defense of their native soil by the Russian armies and people. Wounds should in a single day have plunged into war against the United States and the British Empire. What kind of a people do they think we are? Is it possible they do not realize that we shall never cease to persevere against them until they have been taught a lesson which they and the world will never forget? Here we are, together, facing a group of mighty foes who seek our ruin. Here we are, together, defending all that to free men is dear. Twice in a single generation, the catastrophe of world war has fallen upon us. Twice in our lifetime has the long arm of fate reached out across.
One of the great things about this mission is how much we're learning at the tactical level in terms of interoperability. So on any given week, you've got guys both from light dragoons here in Poland and also the Royal Welsh up in Estonia working alongside Danish, Estonian clearly, American and Romanian troops. So we're learning an awful lot of lessons, radios, tactics, weather. I think for the guys, they're probably seeing this as a really challenging training mission within what is obviously a very strategic operation as well.
Well, clearly the most recent operations for UK forces have been in sort of dry and dusty places, so it's a huge environmental shift. But one of the great things about the types of soldiers that we have and the type of platform that we have, it's a very versatile capability.
Our very presence here is showing that we, as a battle group, as a nation, support any NATO country that is asking for troops on the ground or just any sort of support in any way, whether it be logistical or military. I think that our very presence here is showing to anyone that might be an aggressor, that anyone that might be doubting the sort of strength of NATO, that we are absolutely ready to sort of support in any way that we need to.
My regiment brings the firepower. We've got 155 shells that can fire over 20 kilometres. They can destroy anything that you want to do.
The better we are at low-level skills and drills, the better our chances of being a better soldiers and also surviving. Yeah, we're training hard and working with the Estonians. They appreciate us being here and we're grateful for that, being good hosts.
I'm learning how to fight in cold weather, and I'm also learning how the allies use the technique, how they move. We don't have that many armored vehicles that we use for attacking, so that's like first seeing here those big tank challengers. It's been really good.
We're specialists in fighting in the woods, dismounted, but also with our CB90s, we can really do some heavily damage. Obviously not as the Challenger does to heavily armored, but even when we're dismounted with our anti-tank missiles and so on, we can do a lot.
It's actually been a real joy working with the UK forces here. Balaclava Squadron adds a real capability to our formation that we wouldn't otherwise have in as much depth as we have now. Their tactics, techniques, and procedures that we've worked together with combined training have really been an asset, helped us train our internal reconnaissance formations. And in general, it's just been a good partnership. We've learned from each other, and it's just been fun to be out here together.
Okay, so the Challenger 2 tank is an all-terrain vehicle. The firepower that it has is immense. It can knock down buildings and it can hit targets from up to 5 kilometres away. We've got a challenge to go through some anti-tank ditches, and the Challenger just breezed it. Went in, came straight back out. It's been quite an eye-opener seeing how the Danes work compared to how we work. It's quite interesting actually.
I think it's absolutely fantastic and very much a unique opportunity for the younger troopers and soldiers, but also the young troop leaders that many of whom just fresh out of training themselves. Where we've switched from a couple of very different campaigns. This is a new type of operational environment, but what it does is it secures manpower with ready access to resources, where we can continuously train, and the troop leaders have their train set really, which they may not otherwise have, with busy sort of tempo of regimental duty back in the UK. So it's a singular environment with a singular focus and all your resources to play with. So I think it's a great and very different operational tour.
Going out and responding to an incident as part of the quick reaction force. Initially, as soon as the incident happens, all the platoon come down to the vehicles, start prepping them, ready to go out. Myself and my platoon sergeant formulate a plan as to what's actually going to happen on the ground when we get to that incident. I'll then brief up my platoon and then move off to that incident. The Afghans play a massive role in the security of the city. They are the ones who hold the primacy in terms of securing it and responding to incidents. And we are there just to provide that assistance to them if there's anything that they need help with. If they don't need our help, we're not going to deploy and cluster and crowd them. The end result is us being able to leave here knowing that they can provide peace and security to the city. It wouldn't work out here if we relied solely on one nationality. Danish, American, German, Polish, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese. We work with a multitude of different nationalities and everyone brings a different experience to the table. So the British vehicles are perfect for getting around the city. They're manoeuvrable, most importantly they provide the protection we need. I definitely miss home, friends, family and girlfriend, but I think it's definitely worth it. It's an opportunity that I really wanted as soon as I signed up to the Army. Commander platoon on operations, yeah, it completely outweighs the British summer, and I think this, yeah, it's going to live on for a long time, this memory of being out here.